Going out on the trail for the very first time and you don't know what to take with you, or perhaps you've been out on the trail multiple times and you'd like to know what the rest of us carry with us. Well, the good news is today I'm going to show you what I carry with me every time I go off-road, and I'm going to explain why. You don't want to miss this. Welcome back to Jeeping for Beginners. Once again, my name is Josh here with my daughter Harley, and like we mentioned, we're going to discuss the essentials that you should bring with you out on the trail if it's your very first time or even if you've been doing this for a while. Hopefully by the end of this video, you've got a small list together that you can pack so you make sure that you are always prepared to take your Jeep out on the trail.
So why are we wasting time? Let's get started.
I have been doing it for more than 20 years, so I probably carry a lot more in the back of my Jeep than what's really necessary for a beginner or a first-time trail rider. But we're going to dive into each one of these containers. Let me show you what I carry, and hopefully it'll give you some ideas of what you should carry. All right, so let's get started with the basics of what I carry with me. I always have at least one tow strap. Now this guy here, you can pick up 20 bucks at Harbor Freight Tools. It's relatively inexpensive. It's got a 10,000 pound shear strength to it, and it's about 20 feet long. Really, just having one of these is all you'd really need if you were to get hung up. In addition to the tow strap, we have D-rings. These guys are used to either lock onto the end of the tow strap and or lock onto the tow points that you have set aside on your vehicle so it doesn't slip off when someone's trying to pull against your vehicle to get you over an obstacle.
Next, having a shovel is always handy.
You never know when you're going to need a shovel off-road, be it to help dig yourself out of a situation, or, heaven forbid, if you've got to use the potty and you're on the trail. Again, having a shovel is always handy. The one we bring with us is compact so that it doesn't take up a whole lot of space, but it does the job. Next, which we'll talk about in another video, should have the tools necessary in order to air down your tires. These will be automatic deflators is what I carry with me. If you have a tire pressure gauge that you use or a different type of deflation system, that is perfectly okay. Next, let's talk about what I carry in this bag. I find this to be a very important bag off-road. Let me show you why. Inside, I carry a wilderness survival kit, which is going to have multiple items inside of it. A knife, fire starter, it's got a saw, it's got a heat blanket, it's got flares, notepad. There is actually all kinds of stuff in here that you never think about should you end up stuck off-road. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Unfortunately, it's happened to me a few times. In addition, also carry a fully stocked first aid kit. All right, again, you're going to be separated from civilization. Should something happen, you need some antiseptic cream, you need a Band-Aid, you need some burn cream, or whatever the case may be. A fully stocked first aid kit is an awesome idea to have off-road. Now, both of these items are relatively inexpensive. I got this for $22, I believe, off of Amazon. Got this for $39 off of Amazon. So you're not really investing a whole lot, but believe me, it'll make a huge difference. Now there's one other item in here. That's going to be toilet paper. That's pretty much for the obvious. I'm sure you can figure that out. Another thing you should definitely keep with you is going to be a hand towel and a thing of hand sanitizer. Every time, no matter what.
Awesome, I love tools. So
now, let's talk about some of the basic tools that you should have with you in your Jeep. Basic, absolutely. All right. Now, I carry a lot more tools than what you see here in front of you, but for just about any situation, your basic tools can pretty much get you through. So, let me show you what I have here. A simple socket set. All right. Inside this socket set, we've got ranging from 4mm all the way up to 13mm. The most common ones on the Jeep are going to be the 10, the 12, and the 13. But having a complete set does help. Also, a couple of screwdrivers, flathead and Phillips is always a great idea because you never know. Adjustable wrench, I have this set out here because it's simple. You can carry a complete box wrench set, which I do. My box wrench set ranges from 8mm all the way up to 25, but you don't necessarily need every one of those sizes. Having an adjustable will get you by in a pinch. A set of pliers, or in this case, a set of channel locks, a 3/8 drive, and I'm going to show you what I carry here. This isn't the only way to carry this, but having Allen heads and star bits. Jeep uses a lot of both of these throughout the entire vehicle. Now you can use the little handheld sets, that's fine. I happen to prefer the sockets style because they're a little bit easier to use. In addition, I always recommend carrying zip ties and electrical tape. You'd be shocked how many times these items are what fixes the vehicle and gets you back off the trail.
You should always have a form of communication when you're off-road, like a GMRS or a CB.
Every Jeep is going to have the tools necessary to remove your spare tire. So in the back, you've got your factory issued jack and tire iron. Me personally, I've been doing this for long enough that I do not like to use those tools, so I always carry a 1/2" impact and a 19mm socket so that I can get my tires off if necessary. This is not something that everybody's going to have on them, as this is actually a relatively expensive tool, but if you have the ability, this saves you a ton of time should you have to swap a tire off-road.
But Daddy Josh, what happens if we run out of gas on the trail?
Well, hopefully you don't run out of gas when you're on the trail. Before you head out for the day, you should make sure that the tank is topped off. Should get you just about the range of anywhere you want to go. However, if you want to carry additional fuel, there's all kinds of different options, from 5-gallon jerry cans to 2-gallon roto packs, and it might be something you may want to consider. All right, so a couple of other things that you should have with you, just as more of a precautionary thing. One is going to be a flashlight, okay? It is a great idea to have a flashlight always charged in the vehicle, just in case sun ends up going down and you need that little bit of light. Also want to talk about carrying a fire extinguisher with you. Now, for whatever reason, this seems to scare a lot of people, okay? There's nothing dangerous about having it in the vehicle. It can withstand the heat of the summer, the cold of the winter, and it stays charged for usually 1 year to 2 years before it has to be replaced. I picked up this fire extinguisher at a local hardware store for $20, and a mount to put it on my roll cage I picked up off Amazon for $10. Again, relatively inexpensive item that you should absolutely have with you. All right, now should you have a winch on the front of your Jeep, definitely want to make sure that you have the controls for that winch. I can tell you, I have forgotten it in the past. You know what? We're not even going to get into that. Just make sure that you have your controls for your winch. So, Harley, is there something that you think that we should bring off-road that I haven't mentioned yet?
As a matter of fact, yes. It is very, very important to have extra water.
That is actually a great idea. Now, you may not be off-roading in the same climate that we do out here in Las Vegas, but whether it's 115 degrees outside or 30 degrees outside, should always have plenty of water in the vehicle just in case.
So you is dehydrated.
Do we use every one of these items every time we go off-road? No, not usually. However, I have used every one of these items at least once in an adventure. If you'd like to see some of those adventures, you can check out my other channel at YASMAR Productions. I'll put a link in the description below. There, we explore the Mojave Desert, check out some ghost towns, some old mines, and even do some hardcore wheeling from time to time. But let me send this over to Harley so we can do a quick review of everything we just talked about.
And in case you missed it, here's everything we just talked about.
that's just a basic list of the stuff that I carry with me, your simple tools and things that you may or may not need when you go off-road. If you like what you saw, don't forget to hit the like button on the video. If there's something that I left out that you feel you should always bring with you, I'd love to hear from you. Go ahead and put it in the comments down here below.
And if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can get future content.
And we will see you next time. One more time.
I was so perfect.
I know, you were, actually. So that worked out great. Okay. Want to try this one more time? Harley, is there anything you can think of that everybody should have in their vehicle before they go off-road?
Water! See?
I know. Okay, let's do that again.